PageTunes Red. From the pages of PageTunes magazine, monthly number 3, March 2024. Story and artwork by Michael Zeigerlig.
Carnage Canyon. 1867 marked my arrival in Redstone Canyon. The name is Sheriff John Hayes, a man burdened by the weight of my past as a Pinkerton detective. Memories of missed opportunities and personal loss shadowed my every step as I traversed the dusty streets of the town. It lay nestled within a rugged landscape, surrounded by imposing cliffs that seemed to guard its secrets. Redstone Canyon streets, once bustling with activity, now bore the marks of decline and uncertainty. Buildings weathered by time and neglect stood as silent witnesses to the town's faded glory. The Redstone Mining Company, once a thriving enterprise, still operated within the canyon, albeit with diminished vigor. The mine's entrance, marked by a weathered sign bearing the company's name, stood as a reminder of its past prosperity. However, the machinery now operated at a slower pace, its once robust output dwindling with each passing day. Whispers among the miners hinted at a future elsewhere, in towns farther south where the promise of better prospects beckoned. It was a dilemma that hung heavy in the air, casting a pall over the community. The sound of pickaxes striking against rock echoed through the canyon, a somber reminder of the town's uncertain future. As I walked through the streets, the anxious murmurs of the townsfolk reached my ears, their faces etched with worry. It was clear that the uncertain future of the mine weighed heavily on their minds. Yet, amidst the apprehension, there was also a glimmer of resilience, a determination to weather the storm, come what may. Redstone Canyon, with its rugged beauty and faded grandeur, was a town in transition, caught between its past and an uncertain future. And as sheriff, it was my solemn duty to help navigate the challenges that lay ahead. Then, one day, after hours of hardship without yielding any coal, the miners struck gold. It was a discovery that breathed new life into Redstone Canyon. Gold, abundant and gleaming. Redstone Canyon hadn't just received a new lease on life, it had struck literal gold. As word spread of the newfound riches, the town buzzed with excitement. New buildings sprang up like mushrooms after a rainstorm, bustling streets replaced the once desolate thoroughfares, and a general euphoria enveloped the small mining community. It was a sight to behold, a town reborn from the ashes of uncertainty. But amidst the celebrations, a shadow loomed over Redstone Canyon. Miners began to vanish without a trace, their disappearances casting a pall over the newfound prosperity. 17 souls gone in the span of 7 days, a staggering toll that sent shivers down the spines of those left behind. I embarked on an investigation, starting with questioning the miners and the owner of the mining company, Warren Barton. Yet, despite my efforts, none of the inquiries yielded any tangible results. Faced with a mystery that seemed to deepen with each passing day, I turned my attention to the mine and the surrounding canyon area. The terrain held secrets waiting to be uncovered. With every step I took into the depths of the mine and along the rugged trails of the canyon, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was treading on the edge of something sinister, something that lurked just beyond the reach of my understanding. But as sheriff of Redstone Canyon, it was my duty to confront the darkness head-on, to unravel the mysteries that threatened to tear apart the fabric of our newfound prosperity. And so, with determination in my heart and justice on my mind, I delved deeper into the heart of the canyon, ready to unearth the truth. As I walked the area, the weight of the mystery bearing down on me, I stumbled upon a spot where an unexpected breeze brushed against my skin. Instinctively, I turned to my right and beheld a small opening in the rock face. Peering through it, my eyes widened at the sight of strange signs and symbols etched into the walls on the other side. Before I could process the significance of what I was seeing, a voice shattered the silence. "Hey, Sheriff, it's lunchtime. You want to come over and join us?" The interruption startled me, and I turned towards the source of the voice, momentarily distracted. "Just a minute," I called back, my attention torn between the invitation and the enigmatic opening before me. But as I turned back to the opening, my heart sank. It was gone, replaced by solid stone as if it had never existed. I rubbed my eyes, questioning my sanity, murmuring to myself, "I'm starting to see things that aren't there. Lord, help me." Despite the sudden disappearance of the strange sight, I knew I couldn't ignore it. With a sense of urgency, I retrieved a sheet of paper from my pocket and hastily sketched some of the signs and symbols I could remember that had adorned the walls. They were unfamiliar, yet stirring something deep within me. As I joined the miners for lunch, my mind raced with questions and possibilities. What had I stumbled upon in that hidden passage? And why had it vanished as quickly as it appeared? I couldn't shake the feeling that I was on the brink of uncovering something profound, something that could hold the key to unlocking the mysteries that plagued Redstone Canyon. Later that day, sitting outside the town jail, I scrutinized the sketches I had hastily drawn, the symbols etched into the paper like cryptic messages from another realm. Lost in thought, I was startled by the sudden appearance of Reverend Brian Lovecraft at my side. "Good day, Sheriff Hayes," he greeted me warmly, but his gaze fell upon the sketches, and his expression turned to one of shock. His hand trembled as he reached out to touch the paper, his fingers tracing the unfamiliar symbols with a mixture of disbelief and horror. I watched as he stumbled backward, sweat beading on his forehead. Concerned, I rushed to his side, helping him to steady himself. "Reverend Lovecraft, what's the matter?" I inquired, my voice laced with worry. Taking a moment to compose himself, Lovecraft sank onto the bench beside me, his eyes haunted by a weighty knowledge. "Sheriff Hayes," he began, his voice low and trembling, "what you've stumbled upon, it's an ancient native legend, one that has haunted these lands and their tribes for generations." As Lovecraft spoke, he recounted the tale of the Goldworm, an ancient creature said to dwell deep within the earth, its very existence tied to the secrets of the canyon. According to the legend, the Goldworm possessed the power to produce gold in exchange for human sacrifice. The pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place as Lovecraft and I made the chilling connection between the legend and the disappearances plaguing Redstone Canyon. It was a revelation that sent shivers down my spine, a grim realization of the darkness lurking just beneath the surface of our seemingly tranquil town. The following day brought grim tidings as 4 more miners vanished without a trace, bringing the total number of disappearances to 21. The weight of the situation hung heavy on my shoulders, a somber reminder of the dire threat that loomed over Redstone Canyon. Under the cloak of night, Reverend Lovecraft and I made our way to the mouth of the mine, the darkness enveloping us like a shroud. With petrolamps in hand, we ventured into the depths of the earth. As we navigated the labyrinthine passages of the mine, I felt a familiar sensation, a subtle breeze whispering secrets in the stillness of the underground. Instinctively, I turned to my right and beheld another opening, its presence a silent invitation to uncover the mysteries that lay beyond. Without hesitation, I seized a pickaxe, its weight reassuring in my grip, and began to widen the opening before it could close by itself once again. With each strike, the solid rock yielded to my determination, revealing a corridor adorned with the same enigmatic symbols that had haunted my thoughts. Reverend Lovecraft stood by my side, offering a prayer as we stepped into the strange environment that lay beyond. The air was thick with anticipation, every step forward a leap into the unknown. As we wandered through the maze of crossings and branchings, a chorus of strange voices filled the air, their eerie chants echoing off the walls of the cavern. We pressed on, drawn by an unseen force, the glow of the walls casting an otherworldly light that seemed to guide our path. Aware of the need for caution, we extinguished our lamps, relying instead on the ethereal illumination that emanated from the walls. It was a surreal experience. With every step, we ventured deeper into the heart of the mine, our senses heightened by the anticipation of what lay ahead. For in the depths of Redstone Canyon, amidst the echoes of ancient legends and the whispers of the unknown, lay the truth that we sought. As Reverend Lovecraft and I arrived at a large opening within the mine, the sight that greeted us was beyond comprehension. There, amidst a gathering of miners, stood Mr. Barton, clad in a bizarre ornamental robe and an elongated hat of gold adorned with the same cryptic symbols that had plagued our thoughts. Surrounding him, nearly 30 miners knelt in reverence, their voices raised in a chant that reverberated off the walls of the cavern. But it was what stood before them that truly defied belief. A monstrous worm-like creature, maybe 60 feet long and with razor-sharp teeth, bathed in an eerie yellowish glow that seemed to emanate from its very core. Its presence was alien, unsettling, and I felt a chill run down my spine as I beheld it. In a moment of impulse, Reverend Lovecraft stepped forward, his voice echoing through the cavern as he denounced the madness unfolding before us. "By God's grace, I demand you to stop this madness, this heathenism." His words hung in the air, a desperate plea for reason amidst the chaos. Realizing the danger of the situation, I reacted swiftly, grabbing Lovecraft and pulling him away from the scene. Panic surged through me as I realized our only chance of survival lay in fleeing these accursed caverns and emerging from the mine. The pursuit of justice would have to wait. Our lives were at stake. Lovecraft resisted at first, his eyes wide with disbelief. But as the gravity of the situation sunk in, he relented, understanding the perilous predicament in which we found ourselves. Together, we ran, our footsteps echoing through the labyrinthine passages as we sought to escape the clutches of the darkness that threatened to consume us. Navigating the labyrinthine corridors of the mine proved to be a daunting task. Each passage seemed to blur into the next. Our progress slowed to a crawl as we struggled to find our way amidst the twisting tunnels. As we advanced, there was no pursuit, only an escalation in the haunting chant that filled the air. Its eerie melody grew more pronounced with each verse, its tempo slowing as if compelling our bodies to synchronize with the ominous choir. Caught in this surreal symphony, a peculiar sensation engulfed me, a sensation so perplexing that it blurred the lines between perception and reality. Was it time itself slowing down? Or was it our body succumbing to some unseen force? Suddenly, a strange sensation washed over us, suffocating and disorienting. It felt as though the very air had thickened around us, constricting our lungs and stealing our breath. And then, to our horror, we watched as our own skin began to shimmer, transforming into a sickly yellowish gold hue. Panic surged through me as I realized the gravity of our situation. We were trapped, ensnared by forces beyond our comprehension. With a sinking heart, I knew that this would be our final moments, our fates sealed by the darkness that surrounded us. And then the world faded to black. Minutes later, the silence was shattered by the sound of pickaxes striking against gold, their rhythmic beats echoing through the cavernous depths. Accompanying the metallic clangor was the haunting melody of ancient chants.
If you've been captivated by the magic of this audiobook, here's how you can immerse yourself even further and support the creation of more enthralling tales for your enjoyment. Unlock the ultimate listening journey with a yearly subscription on PageTunes.com. No interruptions, ad-free, and exclusive access to the full library of audiobooks and ebooks. Download and enjoy captivating stories offline, anytime, anywhere. Whether through subscription or individual purchases, you play a vital role in bringing more enchanting stories to life. Explore the merch store. From cozy hoodies to stylish mugs and much more, every purchase directly contributes to crafting more thrilling tales for your pleasure. Thank you and happy listening.